Pride of Place is a North-South competition that recognises the best in community development on the island of Ireland. The competition is run each year by Cooperation Ireland, an organisation that was set up as part of the peace process after the Good Friday Agreement, and their main reason to run this competition is to promote harmony on the island of Ireland through community development. So every year Fingal County Council selects 3 local groups who are selected to represent the best in community development in the county of Fingal. This year we have the Lusk Community Council, Sustainable Skerries and Castleknock Community Centre representing Fingal in the 2024 Pride of Place competition.
I want to wish the 3 groups that are taking part in the Pride of Place competition in September from Fingal the very best of luck. It's a great competition. It really recognised the importance of the voluntary and community sectors across the whole country, and we've a really good track record. I have no doubt that Castleknock, Lusk and Skerries groups will do Fingal proud, as have other groups before us. So best of luck.
So now we're going to hear from Sabina McKenna with the Sustainable Skerries group, who are representing Fingal in the Climate Action and Biodiversity category.
15 years this year, and it was set up by the Skerries Community Association. We are a part of that, as are Skerries Tidy Towns, the Community Energy Initiative and the Cycling Initiative and a number of other groups. What we are particularly interested in is the Skerries sustainability ripple effect, which means that we are trying to inspire people to do things around their house, for instance, for biodiversity, to grow plants that are pollinator friendly, to leave their garden a little bit untidy maybe, so that nature can have its corner. We also inspire residents groups. Our pollinator experts, Charlie and Marion Heisman, have talked to a number of local residents associations how to keep their area as pollinator friendly as possible. For instance, Mourne Estate Residents Association, MIRA, they have been growing plants and sharing them with their, when I say plants, not hundreds but thousands of plants. And if you walk around Mourne View now, you'll see the beautiful colour all around the roads. Charlie and Marion have been out with children from nearly all schools in Skerries to show them the beauty of our nature, of the flowers, how the birds and the bees work. It's fantastic. The children are so enthusiastic about it. Those are just a few examples of what we're doing. We also have trees all around the town. We now have 150 small fruit trees in 12 mini orchards all over Skerries, and they are planted and minded by local people who are living close by, who can see the fruit. And the word open in open orchards means that anybody can help themselves to the fruit when it's ready. And we are hoping that people will wait until the apples fall into their hand, which is the sign that they are just super to eat. And if you walk around Skerries this year, you see quite a few apples and pears and plums already. But over the years, we'll have loads more. What we're particularly proud of here in Skerries is that we work together with other groups in Skerries. We have the Skerries Eco Festival, which is prepared together with Tidy Towns, the Cycling Initiative, the Community Association itself, and the Skerries Sustainable Energy Community Initiative. We call it SECI for short. But we don't do things just by ourselves here in Skerries. We are working very closely with Fingal County Council. We are in constant touch with operations. We talk to the people in active travel section, environmental awareness, and particularly, of course, biodiversity. So we'd have meetings with them here. We'd go and meet with them elsewhere, talk to them when we see them at other events, of course. And of course, the community department, we can't forget them, because a lot of the work that we're doing, like the Eco Festival and like things that we're doing throughout the year, wouldn't be possible without the help that they give us. So I'd love to show you a few of the things that we're doing at the moment and that we're particularly proud of. Biodiversity is all about giving nature space to live, and as many different habitats, as many different plants and insects and other animals. One tiny little animal that is particularly important to our biodiversity action plan is the large carder bee. And this large carder bee is under a lot of pressure overall in Ireland, but it's doing comparatively well in Skerries now, thanks to the sterling work of our biodiversity team. And Fingal have become very, very receptive to giving a bit of space to nature. And what you can see here is part of the South Strand Biodiversity Corridor. We're now here at Skerries Mills in the Skerries Mills Community Garden. This is another thing that Sustainable Skerries actually started. It took a long time, but in the end Fingal came through and this garden was set up, and now the Skerries Mills Community Garden is its own organization. Still part of the sustainable ripple effect here in Skerries. The Wild Bee Festival was started by Fingal County Council with the National Biodiversity Action Plan, and now it's run by the Community Garden here, and Fingal Biodiversity Division were here as well to launch it on Saturday. No matter when you come, I always find there's something wonderful to look at. And Charlie and Marion Heisman, who are also our biodiversity action leaders in the Sustainable Skerries, they're also among the main people here in the community garden. I said when they heard a community garden was going to be planted, there was absolutely no way it was not going to be pollinator friendly. We're here at the mill stream, and there's one group that is certainly a wonderful part of the Skerries sustainability ripple effect, and they're called the stream huggers. They go and clean this stream. I wish it wasn't necessary, but you wouldn't believe what they fish out by way of litter, waste, and up to and including old bikes. Fingal County Council commissioned, as part of its biodiversity action plan, they commissioned a study of the biodiversity here in what is called the town park in Skerries. And it's amazing the things that are already here and that can be protected. Thanks to Fingal Active Travel Department, we now have a connection to that part of Skerries there, Mill Hill going into Downside, and also the new areas, Ballygossan particularly. It's much easier for them to use Skerries Mill and Town Park as a cut into Skerries, so maybe they can leave the cars at home more often and use bikes and safely reach the playground, the skate park, the mills, and of course also the shops in the center of town. So these mini orchards contribute to biodiversity, not just by having all sorts of different fruit, apple, pear, damson, plums, hazelnuts, but also by allowing a bit of extra space for nature around them. And I must say that Fingal have been fantastic working with us on that, operations department particularly. Without people on the ground and help from the County Council, a lot of these things couldn't happen.
Now we're going to hear from Mark Boland, who is representing the community of Lusk, who are in fact representing Fingal in the populations of 5,000 plus in this year's Pride of Place competition.
I suppose our role is to get together with all the different groups in Lusk that are part of this awards and come up with a cohesive plan that's going to show the judges on the day why Lusk should be in this award for the village and town of over 5,000 people. And I suppose the thing that we have to look at is what is Lusk's unique selling point. And what you've got to look at is Lusk maybe 15 years ago had a population of about 1,700 people. We're now up to about 10 to maybe 11,000 people. So what makes us unique is how we have dealt with that growth. How have we maintained the heritage, the history, the vibe in Lusk with our five-fold increase in population, and that comes down to the volunteers and the groups in Lusk. And I suppose what we're really proud of is what we've achieved in those 15 years to maintain Lusk as an amazing place to live for our new residents that have moved here. I suppose some of the things that we're really proud of here in Lusk and that we want the judges to see on the judging day is how we have this unique heritage and history. We're part of, a medieval town here with the round tower beside us. It's taken 1,000 years to build that, and that's a story we don't ever want to forget. And it's a really important story that we tell to all our new residents that have come in. We've got North Dublin is one of the best growing regions in all of Ireland. About 47% of field vegetables are produced within this region, and our food producers are of huge importance here in Lusk. And we need to highlight and show this to people, not only just on the Pride of Place Awards, but throughout, because our food production here is so important to us. We've achieved projects like redeveloping the community centre and turning it into a cultural centre. We've got cottages that have been redesigned and have a new purpose now for our growing population. We've achieved things like becoming one of the first towns in Ireland to create a town centre first plan. So Lusk is leading the way in terms of what towns can do in order to maintain and improve and become a better place. We've residents of 11,000 people. These people need things to do, places to go, facilities, and it's the volunteers and the community groups in Lusk that end up doing that, and that's who we're celebrating with the Pride of Place Awards. Is how are they doing it? These people are fighting hard to get more facilities. We're working with the council, we're working alongside donors and private investors to make sure that we can have that here in Lusk. The council has been involved in the regeneration of buildings here. The council has been involved in the new sports hub that's going to be here. The council have been involved in a new community garden space that's here. So it's really important that those groups and the council work together, and what we need to show in Pride of Place is all that we've done, and I've named only a handful of projects. We've the Tidy Towns, we've the Clean-up Group, and they're making a difference, and they're making Lusk a great place to live, even though our population has grown by 5 times. There's villages all over Ireland that their main streets are suffering from a sort of dereliction of buildings. Lusk is the opposite. We have no free space left in the town, so we have to become very creative about how we can expand, how we can provide facilities for all these new residents. And it's down to the hard work and generosity of the residents of Lusk, the volunteers of Lusk, the groups of Lusk, that we've managed to achieve that. And that's who we have to celebrate, is them and how they have provided for a new generation of residents in Lusk. I suppose I'll just give you a little bit of a flavour of some of the things that the groups in Lusk and the council have worked on together. Would be this. The first one is the new cultural centre, which was funded through Fingal, but it just goes to show the work of volunteers and groups like the Community Council to get this in place. When it comes to Lusk, one thing that we've a lot of groups and volunteers that work on is our sort of history and heritage, and this is a great example of it. Took nearly 1,000 years to build this in total, and we've got a numerous amount of groups that look after it and make sure that the stories of places like this are not forgotten for the new residents. Another example in Lusk of how communities working with the council are doing projects to improve the areas is this place, which is the sports hub, and they've recently been granted permission for an entire athletics track to go in here, and redevelopment of the football pitches up there, which is going to be great for the youth of Lusk. So there's lots of projects going on in Lusk, and these are the things that are going to make it great for future residents. Another example of a community group being active within Lusk and trying to sort of create a better space is here. So the Forgotten Laneway project has been started, where this whole space is going to be turned into a growing area for residents in Lusk, so they can grow food that has come from soil that we have got from food waste. And this has been supported by the Climate Action Fund, and Fingal have just granted funding for that. So later this year, this is going to be transformed. So another example of the volunteers here in Lusk being able to come together and create something special. Recently, the Lusk Action Group have been involved in a project about bringing the community together, and it's here in this field in Orland Park that the Lusk Summer Festival happens, where you'll have a couple of thousand people here, but you'll also have all the other groups from Lusk all gathering together, and it's a way of us showing the other residents of Lusk some of the work that's being done. But this field is just covered in people, activities, volunteers. It's just an amazing example of how a community comes together to create something, and it's part funded through grants from the local businesses and also the council, which is great. So yeah, It's a really exciting project every year that happens, and it's all done by volunteers. We're very lucky in Lusk to have groups that work tirelessly to sort of maintain the aesthetics of the village, like the Tidy Town, who are involved in all the planting around here. And you know, we've got the clean-up group, and you know, you could walk through the village and it's very often you'll see volunteers out on a daily or every weekend cleaning the place. And that's great because it shows people within the community that may not be part of the community the work that these can do, and it also encourages others to join in. So like the clean-up group has, you know, their membership has gone huge now as a result of people seeing the work they're doing. Tidy Towns, they're not only doing planting, but you know, we're looking to turn the village to a green village, so their biodiversity plan is amazing, and with the help of the Fingal County Council, you know, they're getting grants to do things that show and teach people about biodiversity and sustainability. So we're very lucky to have organisations and groups like that, again, all volunteers.
And now we're going to hear from Catherine Cody, the manager of Castleknock Community Centre in Laurel Lodge, and they will be representing Fingal County Council in the Inclusive Communities category of this year's Pride of Place competition.
One of the groups we support in Castleknock Community Centre is Spina Bifida Ireland, who came on board with us during the pandemic in 2020. They offer an open opportunity programme to all their users, and we have supported them throughout the last few years. The group have been a wonderful integration into our community. During 2023, we did a feasibility study with the group, and we learned their need was for additional space. We are delighted to say that we acquired a building adjacent to the community centre, and the group will move into that particular space at the end of September 2024. Castleknock Community Centre also supports 4 youth clubs within the centre. 2 of those supports young children with additional needs and young adults who have Asperger's. We have been delighted to help and support these groups throughout the years. Again, in 2023, we carried out a feasibility study to establish what their needs were. We have implemented those changes, and I'm delighted to say that the experience that these children have now within our centre is enjoyable, safe, and a happy one. In 2015, the new Hub 15 was opened for our youth to utilise. But all community centres will never underutilise a space, and we saw this as a wonderful opportunity to invite our older community to come and utilise the space, and an invitation was sent to the Lekela social group. This was the start of a great relationship with our older community, and we have established a number of activities for our older people to attend to keep them active, with 120 older people attending classes on a weekly basis. These activity classes not only keep our older people active, but they stay behind in our coffee shop and they socialise. This helps to alleviate a sense of loneliness. They have made new friends and a sense of purpose as well. The community centre also supports the New Irish community. For the last 20 years, we have supported the Sudanese community, where over 80 young children come on a Sunday to learn the Quran and their cultural history. The Muslim Ladies Together group is another group that the community centre has supported throughout the last number of years. These ladies come together from 15 different countries around the world. They are living in Ireland, and in some cases they are lonely and feel marginalised. Each year they host a fundraiser called the Food Festival. We have been delighted to have supported them in the last number of years to host this event in our community centre. Castleknock Community Centre are grateful to the support that we've received from Fingal County Council throughout the years. Through funding, through training, through their support in all different sorts of ways, a community centre would not be viable without outside support.
Pride of Place Awards always gives us a good opportunity to celebrate the work of volunteers in community across Fingal. So this year I'm delighted to wish our 3 participants the very best of luck. That's Lusk Community Council, Sustainable Skerries and Castleknock Community Centre. I hope you do really well and you make us proud with all the work you do in the county.